guides you through the binaries of pleasure, disgust, comfort, discomfort, excess, control, and how they manifested in different forms of consumption during the pandemic.
ASMR is known for its sexual nature. These sounds and videos are often used to soothe those with anxiety, loneliness, and insomnia. ASMR has provided a temporary retreat for the many who have felt touch-starved and isolated from the world. During the pandemic, many of our everyday rituals have changed and become filled with anxiety, longing, and grief. We are reminded of the strength and fragility of our bodies, the importance of touch and skinship, the need to care for ourselves, and the need to create new rituals as a way to recreate stability and to find new possibilities of comfort, to soothe, touch, and care for our bodies when our usual comforts feel out of reach.
ASMR makes the everyday pleasurable. Something like brushing your hair becomes a ritual or an exercise in care that anyone can do. Mukbang is like a friend eating with you, and by staying connected in virtual realm, we find temporary solace and company through the sight and sounds of food.
There is also something very pleasurable about prepping our comfort food. It can serve as a space for people to get in touch with their lost sensuality and discover new realms of shared intimacy in the midst of instability. Prepping food by cleaning, marinating, massaging, and brushing can be a form of self-grooming. It makes performing acts of self-care go beyond a mere personal act to something social and shared. Our desire for touch, connectedness, and reciprocity can be momentarily satisfied.
The sight of me eating viscerally reminds you of your body, your most basic human functions. The sight of eating and cooking as a space where you process the world. The pandemic reminds you of your body, makes you consider it, sit in it, feel it more. In the months during the first lockdown, sales of processed food soared and became high in demand. Mukbang as a form of ASMR is at its core a form of pleasure, intended to soothe viewers. But in a way, this is a fantasy. Some mukbang creators starve for days to prepare for a performance. Some say it glorifies a say watching these videos has helped them cope with their own eating disorders. It can be a form of defiance against gender norms, but it can also reinscribe the same oppressive patterns of judging women as they eat, rather than empowering them.
Their relationship with food is rather sticky.
Mukbang is popular as it breaks eating norms and etiquettes, and is ambivalent towards cultural standards of body, consumption, and health. It is often an overacting of eating as a performance in an internet landscape, where shock is the currency that produces capital. But these performances also fulfill and satiate a Western exoticization and fascination of Asian people and their food.
The phenomena of mukbang originating in South Korea feeds into white people's stereotypes of Asian people eating exotic, strange foods.
Live octopus, bats, cats, or dogs.
Some mukbang creators end up embodying these expectations and perform it as a form of disidentification. They profit by fulfilling the Western fantasy of the exotic. It is done subversively to perform an otherness that is enticing and is contrary to white normative standards. The otherness of mukbang eaters make their performance magical, seductive, filled with satisfaction and relief. Although the interaction with food is unapologetic and pleasurable, they further complicate sticky double binds by being tangled in the white gaze.
These sticky double binds are results of capitalism, food insecurity, and structural oppression, with many of their effects heightened in the pandemic.
Mukbang can be seen as a form of hedonic Western consumption. Our comforts in food consumption gets messy when they're capitalized upon, monetized, and reenact oppressive structures. These inequities have become exacerbated during COVID-19, as already vulnerable food system workers are exposed to precarious working conditions, lack of social distancing, low wages, and abuse. Many are migrants, black people, and people of color, revealing the existing inequalities in a neo-colonialist world where their labor is capitalized off of.
Once you follow the commodity chains of your groceries, you can trace the exploitation of labor around food and its environmental impacts. It's well known that there is no ethical consumption under capitalism, but it's necessary to lessen the environmental ethical implications in food production and consumption. Guilt, sadness, and shame has been associated with indulgence created as a result of systemic oppression and capitalism.
Women, black people, people of color, fat people, and working class people are made to feel bad for feeling pleasure, for resting, for endorsing.
They are seen as being out of control of their bodies and greedy when eating, which is why pleasure and indulgence is often seen as a private act. Interacting with food can begin to tap into a deeper exploration of our vulnerabilities and our politics.
Pleasure is necessary in surviving and counteracting oppressive structures. Finding pleasure in food in itself also keeps us healthy. Pleasure is a way to cope in these systems, and the performance of food can be a form of that. We find temporary solace and ultimately reclaim agency in the world, where the policing of our bodies and our food is widespread.
Food or pleasure should not be something you are allowed or deserved. My pleasure from food is personal, complex, ungendered, and free from societal judgment.
I indulge with pleasure. I indulge for comfort. And now, as protest.